Inravio.com.
Hello again, everybody. This is Joe Larson, and you're watching the 5 Off, 5 On Racing Show. To my right, your left, we have James Kelly of the Long Island Vintage Auto Racing Series. James, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Joe. Good evening.
I appreciate you coming down on such short notice. I know you're a busy guy, you got a lot going on, but we're going to talk throughout the show about vintage racing, what it's all about, how you got there,
Okay.
what this made you decide to do this. We'll have a nice conversation about vintage racing. And I'll tell you what, I've seen some vintage racing in my day here on Long Island, Waterford Speedboat, Seekonk. And I'll tell you what, when you see these cars that look like the way they looked when I was a teenager, it just brings you back to a time when racing was a heck of a lot more fun.
Yes, it was.
But anyway, NASCAR. We're going to start right off with NASCAR. Rumors are flying around the garage area, media, social media. NASCAR has not denied nor confirmed this, but NASCAR is going to eliminate the Jackman on pit road for the top 3 series and go to a hydraulic lift system similar to what's used in Indy cars. Now, there's a lot of pros and cons to this. Pit road is a dangerous place. I've worked pit road in super speedways. I've worked pit road at Bristol. I've worked pit road where there really wasn't a pit road, and I've been hit, I've been rubbed. Guys that I was the official for on pit road have been hit and broken bones. It's a dangerous spot. There's no question about it. And I know NASCAR is trying to take care of the safety of racing on pit road and take care of its people. But they say they're going to save money doing this. Now, you're still going to have the Jackman on your payroll doing something else. They're not going to go all the way down the line and your Jackman, he's five, because they can't do that, number one. Number two, you still need the personnel. Now, the cost to install a hydraulic jack system onto a NASCAR Cup car has got to be astronomical. And it's not like Indy, there's one in the front, one in the back, they lift up a 1,200-pound car. They're lifting up 3,400-pound race cars. And what if the hydraulic system fails? Then what do you do?
Oh, that's just good, right?
And I'm sure NASCAR, in its infinite wisdom, is going to take a look at that, and I'm sure they're going to test it and work it out. But here's my thing. One of the directors in NASCAR in the top 3 series is a former IndyCar director. And we all know what happened in Indy.
Right.
They outruled themselves. There was a divide and conquer. It was IRL, there was CART, and they were both getting terrible fields at all the tracks they went to. It wasn't like it was years ago, as nothing is. My fear is this, and it's happening. 2017 has been the largest change of rules in NASCAR since I've been following NASCAR. And I started following NASCAR in 1967 when Richard Petty was winning all those races.
Right.
And the rules are getting out of control. So it's going to be interesting to see when they finally do implement this. But they're not denying it. And I can't see this being anything good for NASCAR. For the teams, for the fans. Part of watching that race, people like to see the 5 guys jump over the wall
They
and
do.
put in 22 gallons of gas and change 4 tires in 16 seconds. They like to see that.
And what's going to happen if you have that failure, the hydraulic system?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
So you're still going to need this particular Jackman,
Exactly.
this particular person, these personnel. So you're going to have to incur the initial cost.
Right.
Then you're going to have the cost of personnel in case the system fails. So, yeah, I don't.
And still have equipment that you might not ever use.
Right.
Because those jacks aren't cheap.
No.
They're a couple of $1,000s a piece. So It'll be interesting to see how they're going to work that all out, because I'll tell you what, I'm an old school guy.
Yeah, I hear you.
Have the jackman come over, jack up the car, change the tires, be on his way. Now the driver not only has to come in at pit road speed, it's now he has to think a lot. Pit road speed, find his pit spot, even with the stuff waving.
That's tough to do.
Yeah.
It really is.
Stop, throw it in neutral so it doesn't stall, and then hit that button so the car limps up. I don't see that being a good deal. Not that what I think matters, but just throwing it out there, folks. Anyway, James, vintage
Yes, sir,
racing.
Jim Kelly.
You
Jim
guys
is
are-
good.
Well, what made you decide to not only go back into racing in the vintage level, but to start this group, the Long Island Vintage Auto Racing Series?
I don't really know. Probably some sort of mental lapse or something. But drove NASCAR modifieds and started in the beginner's division in 1968 in Riverhead. And then we drove modifieds up to the mid-'80s. And then the pull of the corporate world and business and my wife and the children, it just got to be too much. So I stopped racing. And I've always had a passion, always had a penchant for this. So I retired from Capital One in 2015. And my wife and I were at dinner. And I had been looking at the vintage series. I have a few up in New England.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting there and I'm eating. And I said, back in the modified. So I said, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I was really fortunate in that I met with a group of guys called the Vintage Outlaws. At that time, the Vintage Outlaws was run by a gentleman named Art Chartier, and they had a board of directors. And they were one of the few teams that actually raced the vintage cars. There's a couple other organizations out there, the Senior Tour Auto Racing, again, a great group of people. They do race in the heat races when they do have enough of a field, but they pick the winner out of a hat.
Right.
So if you and I go charging through the field and we get to second, that's it, we got to check up.
Right.
And just drive around.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that.
No.
So I found the Vintage Outlaws. There's also another organization called the Wicked Good Series up in Maine. And Art Hannaford and those guys, and those folks race too. And they have divisions. They just isn't modified. They have a modified, they have a sportsman, and I think they have an outlaw too. And then down south, because I ran Charlotte down there with the Southern Ground Pounders. We went down there for the North-South Shootout. So, but I just wanted to get back into it again and not incur the tremendous expenses you have with a tour mod. And it isn't so much the expense, you know, because we're kind of fortunate that way, but the constant work. You need a full-time crew. You got to be in the garage every night. I'm pushing 70 years of age. I mean, I don't want to do this again. If it wasn't for my crewmen, you know, Russ Clark and a few of the other people, I have some great sponsors too. East End RV, Jim Kidney, Zima Tire. They really help me out a lot. They take care of all my tires, breaking them down, putting them on. And Jim helps me whenever he can. And Russ Clark, he's just there all the time. So it kind of helps, you know, kind of helps a lot. Matter of fact, Wednesday night we're up in New London. We started last, finished second up there. So it's just something I wanted to do again, and I have the shop at the house, so we keep the car there. And I've had a lot of help. You know, Tommy Rogers has been great. It wasn't for Tommy, God, I'd probably be going backwards. Great guy. The whole family is, you know, Lynette and everybody, they're really good people.
Right.
And I brought the idea of having a Long Island vintage series to Eddie and Connie and Tom.
And the owners of Riverhead Raceway.
Yes, the current owners. And
Current
the new
owners.
owners. And by the way, the facility is phenomenal. I mean, if you haven't been there recently since they took over, I mean, everything is just, I mean, the food, but, you know, TJ Halpins and the facilities, the bathrooms, you got air-conditioned drivers' rooms now. It's just the bleachers, everything, you know. Of course, Bob Finan, there isn't anybody better.
No.
You know, and so I went to them, and they seemed for it. Their only concern was car count. So I reached out to Donnie Howe, because I know Donnie had just, Joe Bertuccio found Don's old chassis, and it was junk. And he brought it back, and he reached out to Donnie, and together they put the car together. The car that I have now is Don Howe's #2 that he drove for Bertuccio.
Oh, okay.
So Joe was selling the car, and I was looking at cars all over the place. And Joe's just a great guy. He's a real gentleman. He shakes your hand, it's a done deal.
It is.
He's a good man.
There's not too many people around like him.
Yep, 100%. So he said, buy the car. It's a good car. Problem with the car not selling was it had the truck arms in it. They decided back in the day they were going to try this truck arm thing. Didn't work. Donnie tells you the car pushed like a dump truck. So, but what they didn't know was Matlock was a master fabricator. When he put this whole thing together, he did it without removing any of the Spafco attaching points. So Joe said to me, listen, we'll take everything out of that car, we'll put it back 100% Spafco, and you've got a Spafco car. Price was right, Joe was great, and I wanted to replicate my Vega, the Les Vega that Gary Creddy, Boots, and myself put together. And Joe happened to have a Pontiac Astra, AKA Vega, in the yard. So he said, buy the car and I'll give you the body. So he happens to have a phenomenal sheet metal man there named Norman Peck.
Oh.
Right? Goes without saying, right? Ira Bromley, the 23, Lou Hennessy,
I
best of the
remember,
best.
rest in peace. Good
And
man.
Norman's a great guy, tremendous fabricator. I was still in corporate America at the time, so I said to Norman, listen, you take care of this, I'll take care of you. Just put the body on it, put the Nerf bars on it. And they did that. Starlight Auto Body out of Matatuck, great guys, I know Harvey for years. They painted the whole car, and Missing Mike, actually Magic Mike, I call him Missing Mike. He came out and led the whole car, tremendous job. And we started. This is the first year that we've run strictly on the island. Before that, we were running, with the Vintage Outlaws. So we were at Monadnock, we were at Star, we were at Waterford, we were at I love Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
First time out of the box, 35 years, not in a modified. We go up to Thompson and we win. Yeah, and it was a tough battle. They got a couple good chauffeurs up there. So, but I have to say the car was better than me that day. I was just kind of lucky. I had a lot of motor with that Macbeth's motor,
Yep.
So, and after that, we just kept running with them whenever we could. It gets a little pricey, but because you can never make the ferry.
Right.
So, like Wednesday night, it was supposed to be the first feature out. There were some issues. We got to be the third feature out. Next thing you know, we're doing the 5-hour drive around. Got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. But it's fun. But back to Lavar's, the Long Island Vintage Auto Racing Series, I reached out to Donnie Howe and Frank Saladino. It's kind of a board. I want to have an odd number, so for voting purposes.
Yep.
Any type of disagreements could be settled with the vote. So, and they've been great. Donnie's 5-time champion, tremendous chauffeur, great guy. I'm going to beat you this. 9-2, I got you. I almost got you last time. You got me in the last lap. He's a great guy, him and the whole family. So we put this whole thing together. We sat down. We still have some tweaking to do in 2018.
Right.
We kind of want to level set the field a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to have a weight rule in effect. A couple other things. I don't care about left side weight. We don't care about engines or anything like that. But we're going to try and put some weight rules in effect.
Mm-hmm.
And, a few other things. And then we're going to roll it back out again. We're up to 12 cars now.
Oh,
I got
nice.
Mike Sweet rolling out with a brand new car.
Nice.
Frank Saladino just bought another car. It's going to be a coach. Mike's car's a coach on I forgot the chassis. But he's rolling that out. We've had a tremendous, the fans have been loving it. They come down afterwards and they just, like you said, they live yesterday.
It is.
And you see the coupes and the coaches and the Pintos and the
That's
Vegas.
why we call them modifieds.
Oh.
Jim, we're going to take a break. We come back, we'll continue our discussion on vintage modified racing, not only here on Long Island, but throughout the Northeast when we come back.
Hey, what's I said was gonna say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. You know, you said earlier when you were talking about that one vintage modified group that they picked the winner.
Right.
And I saw that.
Right.
I don't remember what track I was at because I've been to so many in my lifetime.
Right.
They all start to blend. But they had their drivers meeting,
Right.
and they were like, Goggles Paisano, you win tonight. And they, okay.
Right.
And they started them last.
Right.
And everybody was racing. And we're like, next you know, it was like 4 to go in his mid-pack, 3 to go, he's in the top 5.
And the C's parted, right?
And it was like, they parted the C. And the announcer's playing along. And he goes, yeah, that's right, it was Waterford, and the London Waterford. And it was like they parted the sea, and the announcer, and they're going 3 wide. And the people are standing up, and I was like, whoa. And I was like, this is great.
Yeah, it's
and then they rotate, you know,
Yeah.
you win this week, you win.
Right.
But nobody knew that unless they were at their driver's
Yes,
meeting.
exactly.
You know, and they hear the rumors,
Yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah.
you know, and, you know, we were at the New London Waterford Speedball, and there was a guy there, and his name escapes, but he was the 1965 modified champ at the old Waterford Speedball. And he was out there with his original car. Now, the guy is like 80 years old.
Right.
And he's racing like it's a 200-lap tour race.
Right.
Bam, he destroys it, puts it in the fence.
I remember that. The gentleman that owns that car, and that is a beautiful, beautiful coupe. It was a Burgundy Flying 70. That was Sal D.
Yes.
I think the drugs are working. I can remember that. But,
Yes, Sal
and
D.
Doug's a good friend of mine. You know, matter of fact, Doug came down and raced with us for the Jazambek Evans Baldwin Memorial. He brought the car down.
Okay.
But he had to redo that whole front. Him and Charlie Pastriak, that whole Pastriak group, they're good friends. So they put the whole car back together. But you're right, they put Sal in it as a tribute. And I don't know what happened. He got into the side of this Camaro and he parked this thing nose first. And it was a rather costly night.
Yeah.
So, but what we do, as far as starting lineups, Donnie and I usually start last. And we like to put everybody who wants to start on the pole, you know, we usually ask, who wants to start up front? Anyone want to start on the pole? Most of the times there's one, yeah, I'll do it. Like Kenny Southern and Mark Miller, you know, they've been leading the pack a couple of times. You got Jimmy Reed, you got just a tremendous, you got Kevin Basic and Mark Miller, you got those guys. It's just a, you know, Donnie and myself, Frank Saladino with the 61, then we got Mike Sweet coming out, and Norman brought out the 23.
I saw that.
What we do is we try and we've only had one caution flag the whole year. That was because of a spin out. So what we try and do is we try and get the lineup so that it gives everybody a chance to lead a little, you know? So, you know, you jump in the lead, you're in the lead for 2 laps. Donnie and I are in the back trying to get to the front, you know? And everybody leads a little, everybody races, and then you have your pack racing. You know, you have your 2 or 3 lead cars, and then you'll have, you know, 3 through 5, and then 7 through 10, and everybody's dicing, and there's action everywhere.
Right.
So the people really seem to like it. Eddie and Connie really like it. Tom and those guys. Elwood's been great. I call him Gramps. Hey, Gramps, if you're on. So, no. So we're going to try and put together a program in 2018. And what we're looking to do then is, I saw something here about we need more races. Well, we're going to try and do that for you. Right now, we're talking around 6 races here on the island. Could be some more, but right now 6 is enough. Like I said, I'm pushing 70. You know, don't want to do this every other week. The answer to that is yes, by the way. You know, the mind's willing, right?
Yeah.
But,
we're still 17 in our minds.
Right? Once I strap on that thing Wednesday night at Waterford, fly that thing up and down the straightaway, 100 some odd miles an hour, going I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's when you get out of the car and you got to load up.
It's the next day that gets me. The next
right?
day, I'm
Then you got
shocked.
to jack it up in the air. You got to start the maintenance. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But so what we're going to do, the Vintage Outlaws was rebranded to become the Open Vintage Modified Series for the 2017 year. And Gary Byington, who runs the tour once in a while, and he also drives Art Chartier's car, which is an American racer car. He took over the director of that organization. So what we're looking to do in 2018 is we're going to try and set the schedule up so we can kind of support each other. So, he can get a couple cars coming down to the island, and we'll send a couple cars up for his shows. So we're going to try and work that out. So, I mean, I know the ferry's expensive. I think it cost me $300 and something, just around $300 for the car and trailer. And but it's a lot of fun. Thompson's great, Monadnock's good, Star, but it's now they do a good job up there as well. But it's just a lot of fun, and a lot of the guys are retired, and we just enjoy doing what we're doing.
Now, there's one fact I'm sure many people do not know or realize. You guys don't race for a purse.
No, we don't. This is my golf game. This is my corporate golf game. So everybody retires and they play golf. I retire when I drive these stupid race cars for some reason. So, but this is my golf game. So, and the same thing with Donnie and Frank and, Mark and Kenny and Jimmy Reed and, all of them. They just...
Yeah. I remember Kenny Southern's dad back in the day at ISO.
Yep.
The skunk,
Me too.
we called
Yep.
him. And I remember the Suffolk Association Figure
Yes.
8 Racing Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And when I saw him at the track and I saw the 75, it just brought back the memories. Even though his dad never really raced a modified,
Right. Yep.
but it just seeing the black and white 75, I was like, wow,
He's a nice man, Kenny, too.
good people.
He bought that car from a friend of mine up in New England, Bill Cummins. And I was going to buy that car. And then I got in contact with Joe, and as I say, the rest is history. But that's a nice car.
It is.
It's a good car. It's a safe car. And Kenny's getting that thing around good.
Yes,
He's
he
doing
is.
a good job. And
Yeah.
you know who's really impressed me is Kevin Basic show for Mark. He's doing a really nice job.
I'll tell you, they work very hard on that, and
Yeah.
they take it very serious.
Oh, they do. No, they do.
As everybody else does, but
Yeah.
they take it to the next level.
They do. No, they do a really nice job. Jimmy Reed, I mean, the ageless wonder. I mean, the man's phenomenal. I mean,
I was talking to him at the last time you guys are at Riverhead, and I said, Jim, I remember you. He goes, I remember you too. I said, what do you remember? He goes, we parked in the sand next to you. You had nobody. I had my son, and I made my son help you. Because that's what it's all about.
Back then, yeah. Well, Jimmy Reed gave me my first ride in a modified. In 1969, I was driving a limited sportsman with a 6-cylinder. I finished second to Jimmy at West Hampton. And he's such a great, personable guy. Yeah. So we went over and we were talking. And he says, have you ever driven a modified? No. He said, want to drive my modified? So I said, okay, when? Now. Oh, yeah, I can do that. So I put on my helmet, and we didn't have fancy fire suits back then, right? So I tucked on my T-shirt, and I went, right? But yeah, and him and I have been friends since, and his son's a great kid. He's always there to help and support him. And we've been really fortunate. We have a lot of good guys. We have a lot of new cars coming out, and I think 2018, I think it's going to be a real good year for everybody.
Yeah. And I know Kevin had spoken to me when this was in the talking stages, and trying to get me involved and get a car and go racing. And now looking back, I wish I would have. Because you guys are having fun.
We are. We're having a great time. And the track has treated us, I mean,
it's a
great.
It's a night and day difference.
Oh, without a doubt.
When you have an approachable promoter
Yep.
who's willing to try something. And I say,
He's a racer.
Exactly.
He's a racer.
Exactly.
He's not a businessman. He's not a promoter. He's not a carnival person.
No.
He's a racer.
He's a racer.
So he understands this.
Right.
Because when he leaves Saturday night, he might be going to Bristol. He might be going to New Smyrna. He might be with Ryan. So no, he understands it. So he's made our lives easier.
And he's surrounded himself with people. His nephew Tom Gatz is
He's
a
got a
businessman.
great nucleus there. Tom is brilliant. So yep.
John Elwood was a racer.
Yep, I know.
And Eddie, who's been involved, he was involved with Charlie J years ago, raced himself under a different name back in the day. And you could talk to them about racing. I've had a lot of conversations with them, particularly with Eddie and Tom throughout the transition. And I kind of whispered in their ear on certain things, this is going on, that's going on, and this person's your partner, but they're a silent partner,
Right.
and they cleaned house, so to speak.
Right.
And they brought in good people for the most part, and they're making it happen with what they have. And you know, it's a shame that the car counts aren't what they could be.
Right.
There's still a lot of people with the wait and see who got burned by the last
Yeah. No, you're right.
ownership.
You got a lot of cars sitting in garages.
A lot of cars sitting, a lot of cars going to wall. I can't believe how many guys are going
Yeah, I know,
3
Wall's got-
hours, 4 hours
I
to
know.
race at wall.
Yeah.
A lot of guys went to New England, you know, and they have to pass the track to go there.
Right.
You know, but they're coming back slowly, and I'll tell you what, in the next couple of years, we'll be back to the way it used to be.
I think so, and I think the crate mod class, I think that was a great boon. That was a great next step.
Right.
I mean, rather than go from a sportsman into a full-fledged, tour
Right.
modified.
Yep.
That's sometimes that gap is
Oh, yeah.
significant. So now you go to a 350 horsepower tour type car, narrow tires, learn to drive the car, learn car control. You go a little bit quicker than you are with the late models.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then the next thing you know, you're all set to step into the tour cars. So it's a great training ground for future
Oh,
chauffeurs.
without a doubt. And that was missing.
It
for a long
was.
time.
There was
that was
yep.
missing.
So Eddie and Connie saw this. The SKs up in New England, SK lights. And it just attracts this. The Enduro driver, the whatever those little cars are. I forgot what they call them.
Yeah, the street stocks, I guess. they
Yeah,
call them.
whatever they call them.
Yeah.
So the next thing you know, they're stepping up, and they're affordable.
Right.
I mean, the motors are like $4,000, maybe a little more with accessories and everything, right? But so you can buy a car, $5,500 roller. So you put your $4,000 or $5,000 motor in it with accessories, and you're allowed to buy one tire a week, and you can soak them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a good deal.
It is. And speaking of modifieds, the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour was at Bristol for their race this past last week on a Wednesday night show. And the modifieds at Bristol, it's like their World Series. It's like the Daytona 500. And used to be a big drawing race for the modifieds because the Southern guys would show up, which there is no more Southern modifieds, and they're all concentrating on the
Southern Tour.
the Southern
Whatever it
race
is.
and
Yeah,
stuff,
right.
and going to Caraway and Bowman Gray. But
Right.
at Bristol, Patrick Emmerling from upstate New York started on the pole. He was the winner there, followed by Doug Kobe. Justin Bonsignor was third. Chase Dowling fourth. Ryan Priest was fifth, followed by Andy Seiss in sixth. Rowan Pennick in seventh. Ronnie Williams eighth. Bobby Santos ninth. And rounding out the top 10, Matt Swanson. The NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour will be in Seekonk, Mass for a weeknight show next week. Seekonk, a small, little, tight bull ring racetrack. It should be a fun place to race there. As the standings go right now, is Timmy Solomino has a 2-point lead over Rowan Pennick, followed by Ryan Priest, who's 9 points back, even after missing an event. Doug Kobe is 17 back. Justin Bonsignor is 19 points back in 5th, followed by Eric Goodale, 31 points back in 6th place. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th are way back in the standings. Dave Sapienza 7th, Matt Swanson 8th, Max Zeckham 9th, and Robbie Summers rounding out the top 10. I noticed in the social media people were questioning about who's a rookie, who's not a rookie. How come that guy's not getting rookie points? Well, I went to the NASCAR Wheeling website, and the rookies that are competing right now that are registered rookies are Calvin Carroll, Walter Sutcliffe Jr., Ronnie Williams and Gary Binghamton, Les Henkley III, Dylan Stoyer, Brad Van Houten, Jeff Rocco, Lorene Egerton, and C.J. Lehman. Their points are real simple to figure out the Rookie of the Year. There's no politics at all. The highest finishing rookie gets 10 points. The next rookie, 9, 8, 7, 6. And right now, Calvin Carroll has an outstanding lead with 64 rookie points over Walter Sutcliffe Jr., who has 36. So there's 6 or 7 races left, so we'll see how that's going to pan out. The rest of the rookies are in the back, not so much in the back, but they're mathematically would take a lot for them to win. As Williams and Binghamton have 15 points. Hinckley III, Dylan Stoyer has 10, Brad Van Houten has 9, Jeff Rocco 9, Lauren Egerton 8, and C.J. Lehman rounded out the rookie status. So anybody else is either decided not to go for Rookie of the Year this year because you only get one shot at it.
Right. Yeah.
they're going to run less races, or I think the 6 races, you're no longer considered a rookie, so maybe they're only going to do 5 and go for it next year. So we'll see what happens on that. But those are the rookies, and I hope we squash that out, because there was a lot of question. Oh, that guy's a rookie. Why isn't he getting rookie points? So it's how you declare it. You have to declare that by the 3rd race, I believe. You have to go to NASCAR and say, I'm running for rookie points. And you'll see their name in the races finish and in the points with an asterisk next to the name. So that's how you know there's a rookie there.
You know who's really surprised a lot of people this year? Dave Sapp.
Dave Sapienza is,
he always showed flashes of brilliance. I just don't know if he ever had the equipment to match his driving ability.
Without
and
a
now
doubt.
Dave's got the equipment. He's got a full-time team, and I'm telling you, he's a threat to win wherever he goes.
You know, he's sitting 7th in the points, and I had said this on last week's show. It used to be the tour consisted of New England guys, Jersey guys, and Tom Baldwin Sr., the late Tom Baldwin. And Long Island people would come and they would chase them away. And I saw that firsthand my first season in there. And they said, oh, here comes another Wrong Island car.
Wrong Island, yeah.
And they slowly came in. Glenn Tyler came in, the Gooddales.
Right.
And the Gooddales only came because they had a falling out with their local racetrack. And they had this 2 cars, let's go racing.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
And when they came on the tour, they had no idea how it worked, what to do. And they were brought into the hauler. This is how we do it. This is what we do. This meeting, that meeting, the other meeting. You have to go by this, the entry blank.
It's not really Saturday night anymore.
It's
a big shock.
And they showed up on this tour when there were 40 plus cars and was starting 28.
Right. Yeah.
And now you look at the top 10 in the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tours. You have Justin Bunsen, you're from Long Island. Ryan Preece is a Long Island-owned car, and you look at these guys, and it's like, wow, Justin Bunsen, Eric Goodale, Dave Sapp, Long Islanders. Timmy Solomino is the point leader. Right. That was unheard of. A Long Island
that was like
guy.
a Long Island gang, right? I mean, they grew up together racing go-karts, right?
Yep.
Justin and Timmy, I mean, everybody, right?
Oh,
now here they are again. I mean, they've taken multiple steps to get there.
Absolutely.
But
And
here they are battling door to door, right?
And Justin has one of the, and I'm going to say, I've been involved with the tour for a long time, one of the best owners that I've seen there in a long time, who is not just writing the checks, but he's involved.
Oh, that's good.
And he's a soft-spoken guy. And, when you look at the humble beginnings of his car owner, came through go-karts.
Oh, okay.
And went to Tom Bonsignor and said, Tom, I want to get a tour mod. How's it work? And he sent him to me. And I said, Ken, you need a boatload of money.
Right.
And
what's the old adage? If you want to be a millionaire in NASCAR, start with 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And then you look at Timmy Solomino running with Flamingo Motorsports, who have been successful with every driver who's strapped into their car.
They know how to pick talent.
Talent. Their crew chief is a full-time employee of Flamingo Motorsports. It's just amazing. And if
that's
you're
what
going to
you
do
need
that,
now. If you're going to go tour racing, you're going to need a full-time crew.
Yep.
You're going to need a full-time in-house mechanics to get that car ready for you.
Yep.
You're going to need a boatload of money. It's like the old Grand National Series used to be, right? Back in the 60s. I remember back in the day, for a brief moment back in the day, we were thinking about running for points, but forget about it. I mean, it's insane, even back then. I mean, Richie and those guys, they were running 100 races a year.
Right.
I mean, it was just anywhere, from Maine to Florida.
Friday night,
February,
drive through the night, go Saturday.
Till December.
Yep.
I mean, and now you got 16 races and you're the champion. So,
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, I'm old school.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we come back. We'll continue our talk about vintage racing and the cost to race a modified anywhere in this country when we come back.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Village Music Shop of Master. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop. 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Welcome back, everybody. I'll tell you, and I know I say this all the time when we have a guest, sometimes the conversation during the breaks, I wish there was a way to put them in.
We had a good time, right?
Yes, we do. I told you, it's like we're sitting at the kitchen table.
Yes, it is.
You know, we were talking about cost.
Yes, sir.
Now, whether it's a tour type mod, a weekly mod, a vintage mod, it's not cheap. And like you said, it's
No,
your golf game.
It's
But
not. It's the Open Vintage Modified Series. It's just, like I said, they rebranded themselves from the Vintage Outlaws. They have a rule they put in effect this year: no stickers. Stickers, for those who don't know, are new tires. They have a
Right.
sticker on them, right? So, but what I would do is I would buy 2 or 3 sets of stickers throughout the year, and they would carry me through all the races. You know, because you're allowed to treat them and soak them, and so. And we haven't had to do that because the only one who bought a set of stickers this year was me, and that won't happen again. But I don't think we need to put that type of rule in effect because we have such a large, group to pick from with all the tires that are surplus, and we can soak them. So we're getting tires that have 40 laps on them that might practice with them the following week. The tires still have 430 seconds worth of rubber on them, and when you soak them, they're sticking in the high 20s, low 30s. So everybody can get all the tires that they need. So, but maintenance of the cars. I mean, it's still a modified. It's still $14 a quart for oil. It's still maintenance every week. It's still $11 a gallon for fuel. It's still, and when you travel, we went to the North-South Shootout last year. We finished second behind John Betts.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. We had Johnny Sutton was his chauffeur. He's a tour chauffeur. And John came down there with a Hendrix-powered coupe on a Troyer chassis, 840 horsepower SB2 motor. And I didn't have anything for Johnny. We finished second to him. But just to travel down there, I mean, it was a couple $1,000 weekend.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. When I met the director of racing for the Southern Ground Pounders, and those dudes are serious racers. Serious.
Yep.
Every week they're somewhere. I mean, they're in South Boston, they're in Caraway, they're anywhere from Georgia to Virginia. And Mac's a great guy. And like I said, he invited me down there, and they were just wonderful people. We had a great time. That track is crazy fast.
Yeah.
Crazy fast.
Yeah.
Whoa. You come down the straightaway 150 miles an hour, and you come into one, you go up this one-story bank, and there's only 2 turns, 1 and 4. There is no 2 and 3. So you kind of mat the throttle, and you're in this big dog leg, and Bobby Parks was there, and everybody came down. We were down there with John, and John's building motors for Ernie Irvin's son. So he was in there, and then the guys from Everhand Shop came over, Eddie Bone and all the, Ricky was there, which is Ombeck, and thank God because they helped me out with the chassis setup. But we just had a great weekend, and the North-South Shootout's really kind of cool because it's the Rebels versus the Yankees, so
It is.
I mean, it's really kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
So, and they're serious races down there.
They brought me down one year for the North-South Shootout when it was at Caraway.
Yeah.
Because promoters They needed my, I don't know what they,
Expertise.
I guess. Because Brooksy, Dick
Yep.
Brooks,
Yeah.
been doing
He's
it
a
for
great
50
guy.
years, great guy.
Yeah.
But they needed somebody to reel him in and somebody
Didn't
to
get carried
push him
away.
at the same
Yep.
time. So here I am. Now these Southern guys, they don't, the Myers knew me, Burt Myers and Jay,
Yep,
they
yep.
knew me. A couple of the guys, J.W. Miller knew me, but for the most part, these guys didn't know me.
Right.
So and I don't know them,
Right.
which is fine.
Which is
So-
a good thing, I think. Right?
So I'm going around looking at cars and my thing. What's that? Oh, sir. Sir, everything was sir.
Yeah, right.
We'll take care of that, sir. We'll take care of that, sir.
Right.
I was like, wow, nobody called me sir at Riverhead.
Right. They would met you outside, beat you up, and left you in the
Oh,
fence there, right?
man.
Yeah.
Oh, how many times,
Right.
who's going to shoot me?
Right.
Who's going to blow up my house? Somebody called my house and told my wife, get the kids, get out. We're going to blow the house up. Oh, man.
Wow.
And you never know if they're serious or not.
Wow. Yeah. You know.
But I look back and I laugh. I look back at it. But walking around, Kyrie, they're calling me sir. And when they had an issue, they come in, sir, did you see that, sir? I thought I was a general in the army, the way they were going. But the cost, and I know all about it. I've been involved with racing in every level, from promoter to crew guy. It costs a lot of money to go racing. And you said something before that stuck in my head, and I say this to people that are racing late models or when they were racing street stocks or Chargers. Why do you run a modified? Oh, I can't afford it. Your gas is the same.
Right.
Your tires are the same. Your license is the same. Your pit fee's the same.
Right.
Once you have the car, it costs the same to run it. Nobody understood that.
Just about.
Nobody. Hey, all right, sure. When you rip a spindle off a blunderbuss car, you go to the junkyard and get another one. You rip it off a modified. You're calling your local parts guy and you're writing
There's
$1,000
so
check.
much maintenance now.
Right.
With these tour modifiers, all lightweight rears. I mean, they're spending thousands of dollars per wheel on all those lightweight stuff. I mean, we don't have to go through that, but I might want to send my motor out this winter. We're going to do a leak down test on it. That's 10 grand.
Yeah.
10 large, freshen it up. Next. You want a clutch? That's $1,500. Put a clutch in it.
Yeah.
The rear end goes, that's a few $1,000s. Go buy shocks, springs.
I know.
So the cost is big,
I had got lucky enough to be involved with a guy who was looking to put me one of his other modifieds.
Oh, nice.
And it was a couple of years ago, and me and NASCAR didn't see eye to eye at the time, so it just never
No.
happened. Yeah, depending on whose story you listen to it, they didn't like the way I left. I didn't like the way I was treated, whether I quit or was asked to go.
Right.
The only
It is
people
what
that
it
know that is me, God, and the guy in the office that day.
3 sides to a story.
Exactly. His version, my version, and the truth.
That's it.
So I go to Hutter. I'm going to get a Hutter motor.
Right.
I'm going to get the best.
Yeah.
I had good sponsorship. So I call Hutter up, and I'm telling him what I'm looking for. And he tells me, it's going to be $80,000. I almost swallowed my teeth.
80.
You need two.
2 motors. I heard that.
You need two.
You can't buy one from Hutton.
Nope. One that's in the car,
Right.
and one that's on the shelf in case you hurt the one that's in the car.
Right. Okay.
I
Okay.
can't do that.
2 motor minimum. I don't think he's the only one too, but I heard Ron's doing that. Yeah.
And Wade Cole, who was the guy that was gracious enough to let me have a car, he used Billy the Kid forever. Billy the Kid goes, well, I got enough parts to put something together that's competitive. And then I just never got to use it.
Right.
So Wade brings that car to Riverhead Monadnock.
Nice.
Whatever.
Like the engine in my car. That motor was built in 1989 by John Betts.
Mm-hmm.
John owned the motor. Tommy owned the car. It's Tommy Bowling. That was
Okay.
a partnership they had. So back in the day, that was a $40,000 motor, $38,000 motor. So, Petruccio's freshened it up a few times since then. But if that thing blows up, I mean, I'm not going to buy a brand new one.
Right.
But I mean, you can get some decent deals out there. But the engines, I mean, a spec motor now is what, $45,000.
Yeah, just about that. Yeah.
Right, by the time you're done with the accessories and all this
Yep.
stuff, and
By the time you bolt everything on.
yeah,
Yep.
you're at 50,000, and then you got to have the lightweight discs, special transmissions,
Yep.
I have a mini clutch. Every time you need a clutch, it's over $1,500. I mean, shouldn't need them. I mean, not frequently, but now the shock packages they have. I mean, everybody. I mean, you go to the tracks to get shock. Got shock dynos in there. Everybody's. It's crazy. The cost.
It's so different. And I mean, I first started racing in '79, at ISIS Speedway in the figure eight, and I got all my parts at the junkyard, and as time progressed, and now it's 10 years later, some of the parts I'm getting at the speed shop, I'm paying a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
And now, don't get me wrong, the figure eight division, and for anybody that doesn't know, is dollar for dollar the best paying division in racing.
Yeah.
You could ride around and make $100 and something, where you win, I'll say a lesser class division, and you could have finished the last in the figure eights and had no damage and made more money. But when you look at the cost, I mean, it's expensive. But you said it's like your golf game. It's like my brother has a boat. I see what he spends in gas just to take his boat to fire around.
And then the maintenance during the winter.
Yeah, it's all the same. And I look back, and it wasn't supposed to be that way.
No, it wasn't.
We priced ourselves right out.
We did our own worst enemies.
And you look back, and if that guy was pouring sand on his roof and he was winning, you went to the sand pit and put sand on your roof.
Exactly.
That's just how it was back in those days.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, before we take a break, the Camping World Truck Series is at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and we have some results for there as well. Kyle Busch started the week off great with a win from the pole. Yeah. Matt Craftston was second. John Hunter Nemechek third. Grant Enfinger was fourth. Ben Rhodes fifth, followed by Johnny Sauter in sixth. Christopher Bell seventh. Parker Klingerman eighth. Austin Connors ninth, and Brandon Jones rounding out the top 10. Speaking of the Camping World Truck Series, Brad Keselowski Racing will shut down its Camping World Truck Series team at the end of 2017, suggesting that he's not done being a NASCAR team owner. He's just moving on to something else. His 100,000 square foot shop will be converted into something else, which he is not saying at the time. Okay. So I think he's going to end up owning his own NASCAR Cup team down the road. Just something's making me think that.
Yeah, partner with Penske, maybe.
What do we have? 22 figure eight. Does my brother have other boats crashing into him? No. Although the last time I went out with him, somebody did almost T-bone us. Oh. And he had to shut it down and throw it into reverse, so we didn't. But anyway, it's all good.
We're looking at questions on the monitor, by the way.
Yeah. And Macbeth's, now Richie from Macbeth's, he took over from John.
Great guy,
is building race team motors for the fire department drill team.
Yes. Yeah. And big blocks. I mean, hellacious big blocks. I mean,
anyway, we're going to take a break, and we come back. We'll talk about the Xfinity Series at Bristol and the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series as well when we come back.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8 Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Mark Well. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the but if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming You Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
The Xfinity Series was at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch, win number 2 of the weekend. Kyle Busch wins that race from the pole again. finished first. Daniel Suarez second. Elliott Sadler was third. Ty Dillon fourth. Justin Allgaier was fifth. Brendan Poole sixth. Daniel Hemrick seventh. Austin Dillon eighth. Joey Logano ninth. And Cole Custer rounding out the top 10. The playoff picture is starting to look like this. The top 12 are automatically in. But the lock-ins right now is William Byron with 3 wins. Justin Allgaier with a win. And Ryan Reed with a win. Now that's 5 wins. You're wondering, where are all the other wins?
Right.
They're won by Cup drivers. Their wins don't count. Something needs to be changed with that.
Yes.
And they're working on it again, limiting how many races they could run. So that's where the Xfinity stands, and we'll see what happens. And like I said, those 3 guys have 5 wins out of all those races they have. And the Cup guys shouldn't be doing that. I don't think.
Like you and I said during the break, we think some of that's driving the attendance numbers.
Without a doubt.
Between the changes and, the Cup people down in the lesser divisions, and it's just, I don't know what the answer is. I'm not that smart.
No.
But,
That's why we're here talking about it.
Yes, right? We can talk about it.
Anyway, the Monster Cup Energy NASCAR Series. Now Kyle Busch has a 3-peat. This is like, he owns this place.
I know, right?
Kyle Busch is the winner. Eric Jones second. Denny Hamlin third. Matt Kenseth fourth. Kurt Busch fifth. Ryan Newman sixth. Trevor Bayne was seventh. Kevin Harvick eighth. Kyle Larson ninth. And rounding out the top 10, Ryan Blaney. The next race will be Darlington, Sunday, September 3rd. And with only 2 events remaining before the playoffs, all playoff contenders, to let you know, there'll be 16 of them. The points will be reset to 2,000 points. Driver will earn 5 playoff points for each regular season victory and 1 point for each stage win. The top 10 in regular season points earn playoff points on a sliding scale. Another rule change that NASCAR is looking at for 2018
Oh, boy.
is a cone rule. For those of you familiar with cone racing, they put a cone on the backstretch. When they get the 1 to go at the line signal, they come down the backstretch. They could go to the left of the cone for the inside, right of the cone for the outside.
That should be fun, huh?
This rule discussion will be used in tracks like Bristol, Martinsville, the smaller tracks.
Right.
And according to Senior Vice President of Competition, Scott Miller, who said on an appearance this morning on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, this discussion is due in part from a move Denny Hamlin made coming off of pit road.
Yep.
He checked up in an effort to get an outside spot on the restart. There was no rule for it.
No.
If he wants to stop, he can. Now there's going to be a rule for that.
A rule for everything.
Anyway.
Right.
And Kurt Busch, 600th start of his career, was this Saturday night at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Congratulations. And a lot of people I saw on social media, what's the big deal? Why don't they talk about his wins? I'm thinking if you start 600 events in a 36 race season,
right?
That's like 18 years.
That's a big number.
You know?
No, it is.
And what else is going on? Chris Buescher will return to JTG Dougherty Racing in 2018, signing a multi-year contract for an undisclosed amount. So
that's
good
the
for
other
him.
thing, too. If you see silly season, right, when all these drivers moving around, and you see the more senior, I won't say old, but you see the more senior drivers.
Guys like us.
Yeah. Oh, hey. So you see, Matt Kenseth, and you see all these other folks, right, Junior, and they command a tremendous amount of money.
Right.
So now you've got Jimmy Kelly and Joe Lawson coming up. I'll drive your car for, toll money or whatever.
Really? Cover my expenses.
Yeah, right? So here these guys are leaving, So rather than pay $10 million, or, just like with Carl, right? I mean, it's the same thing with him, right? And if I understand, he had one of the most lucrative contracts. I mean, not that I'm part and parcel to that, but so now you got a Jim Kelly coming in, and he'll drive the car for $1 million, where you had to pay him 10, 12, 14, so you have all that going on now. You got a tremendous amount of churn, So I don't know how that's all going to play out either.
It's funny. John Andretti spoke openly about his time at Richard Petty, when it was Petty Enterprises. And he said one of the reasons he left Petty is over money.
Yeah.
And Richard Petty's old school, and Richard Petty is the way Bill France Jr. was. If I make money, you'll make money.
Exactly.
This is what I'm paying you now.
Right.
And I was, back in the day when there was talk and I was going to work for NASCAR full time, I was given the same speech.
Right.
We don't pay a lot of money, but if we make money and do good, you'll do good.
Right.
And at the time I was a manager at UPS, I was, making a six-figure salary. I'm like, all right.
That's similar to the corporate
do
world,
that.
especially with bonus money, stock options at the end of the year with me.
Yep.
I mean, if Capital One had a great year, Jim Kelly had a great year. If Capital One didn't have a good year, well, then Jim Kelly had an okay year.
Exactly.
It's the same thing in any business environment,
Yep.
You know what they ask you? What's going on with Joey Logano? I mean, I know you're in on you have a lot of all the inside. What's going on with that poor kid? That kid couldn't catch a break. I mean, no matter what. I mean, he comes out of the same stable as, right? And he.
Part of his problem, and I'm going to say this, and I saw this in the Modified Series with Ryan Preece, with, the guy that drove for Partridge, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Drove for who?
No, before him. He drove, oh man, I can picture what he looks like. Doug Colby's brother-in-law. Wow. But anyway, Daddy gets involved. Yeah. And Joey Logano's father, there's no secret, is a hothead. My kid raced go-karts with him 15, 20 years ago. And he was banned from the garage by NASCAR. He's that much of a problem.
Right.
And now he's allowed back in, and it seems like when Daddy's around, he's in his ear, he's not focused.
He's still your father, and
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to one of the guys and over his dad's stuff, and I said, listen, I wish my dad was involved with racing with me. I wish he would have took me to a race growing up. He thought racing was a waste of time, waste of money, waste of energy. You could be raking the lawn instead of watching races. And I said, but you're at the opposite extreme. You're out there turning the wheel. You're Ronnie Silk. Thank you, sir. And
love this monitor.
This is great.
This is great.
This is like my cheat sheet. I said, when your dad's in there in the office, and the same thing with Ryan Preece's dad, and I have the ultimate respect for both those men, don't get me wrong, but you're in there yelling at the race director. You're yelling at the tech officials.
It's a distraction, right?
Here's what's going to happen. You break my chops, I'm breaking yours. And I always used to tell people, even when I was the head guy at Riverhead, don't embarrass me, and I won't embarrass you. You want to curse me out, make references to my mother, do it in the office.
Right.
I could do that. But if you're in front of me and there's 100 people around waiting for you to hit me or me to smack you, I'm going to zip it up.
Yep.
And next week, bring every tool you have in your toolbox, because we're going to see every part on your race car. And that's, it's unfortunate that it comes to that.
And they have a long memory in NASCAR.
Yeah.
If you do something to them the following week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're going to spend a lot of time trying to get through tech.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Anyway. Hey, folks, before we wrap up here, I just want to remind everybody to visit us at Inravio.com and click on our contest page, because we have tickets to the Paramount, some good shows there. You win tickets, it's awesome, it's free. You go to the window, they give you your tickets, but you gotta be in it to win it. It's like Mega Millions. Great shows at the Paramount up in Huntington, a proud sponsor of the Inravio TV network. So check them out. Click on the contest page, I can't say that word tonight, and you scroll down if there's one that you wanna see, or if you wanna see them all. There's no limit to how many you could click on that you wanna win. Be in it to win it. www.inravio.com. It's going to ask you what your favorite show is. That's a no-brainer. And you'll win some nice tickets. Anyway, Jim, I want to thank you for taking a lot of time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you very much.
And coming on and talking about vintage racing. I love it. I think it's only going to get bigger and better.
Yep.
And we'll have some fun. Anyway, folks, wherever your endeavors are, before I say that, I will not be here next Monday. I will be having my surgery Thursday. Michael Jarecki of MyRaceNews.com will be filling in for me. But until then, wherever your endeavors will bring you this week, please be safe, please be careful. Tell somebody you love them, give them a hug. God bless you all, and we'll see you in 3 weeks. Good night, everybody.
Good night.